Hey guys, welcome to Created for This. I'm Danielle Roberts, and today we're going to talk about the lovely topic of boundaries and balancing everything that we have to do. So, you guys already know that when you want to do something, you cannot be in two places at one time, right? Like, man, that would be so great if we could be in two places at one time. But sadly, that's not possible. And so we need to make sure that we are giving space to the things that matter the most. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple different things. I want to encourage you to look at your schedule, look at what you do every day, every week, every month, and say, how can I make this better? How can I redefine what it is that I'm doing so that I can make the most out of every single day? And why is this important? Really, seriously, why is having a schedule that doesn't stress us out, doesn't overwhelm us, and really allows us to live life fully and wonderfully and present make a difference? So those are the things that I want you guys to answer as you listen to this. So I'm recording this because I have heard way too many women be like, I have to do all this stuff. I have to be everywhere. I have to do everything. And it's so sad to me because we as women, we take on so much. And societal norms or perceived societal norms, if you've been in sociology, it allows us to have those feelings of, man, I have to do everything. Y'all, stop. Please, just stop doing everything. It is not helping you. So that's why we're going to bring in boundaries. And I want to talk about boundaries and what boundaries you guys have around your schedule, around your life, around what you're saying yes to. Because when it comes down to it, your schedule and what you're doing impacts you. It impacts your family. If you have a family, it impacts your friends if you have friends. And it's just better when we have boundaries. So I'm talking boundaries. I'm talking about those things that we set up in our lives so that when we want to do something, when we say we're going to do something, we're not just giving lip service. We're not just saying, oh yeah, I could do that. I could squeeze that in. But rather we are showing up how we need to be showing up. We are giving people the space and the recognition that they need to be given so that we honor them, we respect them. And whether it's in work or business or life, we're living in a way that represents Jesus. So how does Jesus represent boundaries? I think that Jesus was really, really good about showing up and being present where he needed to be, when he needed to be there. And yes, we do see in the Bible how he did not make it to Lazarus in time for Lazarus to be healed. But then he ended up raising Lazarus from the dead, as was planned. Kind of extreme, but he knew the timing and where he needed to be, when he needed to be there. So let's back up to creating boundaries, looking at boundaries. What do you have in place in your life that's going to allow you to not take on too much at one time? When you create a boundary, whether you need to write this out or whether you need to have it tell somebody, that's just something that you hold on to yourself. If you create a boundary that says, I will not do more than 5 things a day, or whether you have a boundary where you don't work on 1 day a week, so you can actually rest, those are things that you should look at. And when you allow yourself to create those boundaries, you're going to need to also look at your schedule. You're going to have to say, do I have space? What kind of space do I have? What kind of space do I need to be able to live fully and not be stressed out and not get overwhelmed? Those are things that are kind of, it's going to take you a hot minute, because you have to actually look at things. Look at the way you want to be living. If you are a woman who is living the way that they want to be living, if you have all kinds of space, and if you have no stress around your schedule, I am so excited for you. You can probably just shut this whole episode off and carry on with your day, because you got it. I always think that there are different things that we can do. I'm constantly rearranging my schedule and saying, how can I be better? How can I do more? How can I carry things out in a way that's better? But if that's not you, good for you. I applaud you. But if you are like me and you want to make sure that you're living life completely and fully, look at your schedule. Look at what it is that you are doing. So I've had a couple of people who have been like, okay, how do you balance everything? How do you read the Bible? How do you do this? How do you get work done? How do you play with your kids? How do you have 4 kids? It's a commitment, and it's knowing your limits. And when we look at the schedule, saying, what are my limits? What is it that I am committed to? And what are the limits of things that I want to have? So I know that Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings are free. And I'm saying free from work, free from errand running, and I want to get super, super specific on the areas that I'm cleaning in my house, because the areas in my house are also important. If my house isn't clean, guys, it's kind of crazy. When my house isn't clean, I start getting distracted. I just get frustrated. And my husband, God bless him, puts up with me being a little bit cluttered, but he also is really committed to also helping clean up. So I want to honor that, and I want to respect what he wants. And he wants clean toilets, and he wants no clutter on the kitchen counters, things like that. So those are my limits. Those are my boundaries around my time. As I say, I've got 1 day for content recording or in creation, 1 day for doing this client, 1 day for doing whatever. And I put the kids in daycare, and I have all of them in daycare, and my daughter's in school on Wednesdays, so that I can create content and I can put out this podcast, because I know what's important, and I know what God's called me to. So when you prepare for something, or when you want to do something, you have to prepare the space. I will take pictures of my actual time blocking. Granted, I don't always stick to it, but I worked with Kelsey Van Kirk to get really specific, and she's got 4 kids as well. She does a ton, and she homeschools. I don't know how parents homeschool and work at the same time, or have a business at the same time. That is not me. She has a capacity that has allowed her to do that. And the girl plans. She schedules everything. So it's awesome. And she's so good about it. So if you have the space prepared, if you commit to something, then commit to it. There are a couple different people who I've heard of recently committing to something, and then they don't follow through. That could be a whole nother podcast, but guys, let's make sure when we commit to something, we are fully committed. Whether that's work, whether that's showing up for a coffee chat, whether that's showing up for a coffee date in real life, we need to show up. And if you know that your schedule and your plan and your calendar and your roster of clients is super, super big, don't take on somebody else's project just because you need the money. Get what you have done, and then move on. And you will find other clients. You will get other things done. But honestly, this is a problem. And this is part of the balancing act that we do, is we say, oh, I've got enough time. I should be able to get it done. I can fit them in. I can balance everything else. No. Do yourself a favor and say no. And boundaries give you permission to say no. I am giving you permission to say no right now because it's going to be better for you. It's going to be better for your business, because then there's not going to be people talking about you and how you have not met your deadline and have not made other business owners not meet their deadlines because you've held people up. So if that's you, honey, you need to stop. Just say no. Build a boundary. Say, these are my limits. You guys, it's so, so important. And I have seen this countless times. And I have seen big businesses be talked about by other people because they don't have their boundaries. They don't have their stuff together. They don't say no. So I'm giving you permission. And I don't know if you need it, but you have permission to say no. And you have permission to build the business that you want to build and commit to showing up for your clients and showing up for your people. And it's a marvelous thing when you have time and space to do what you need to do. If you feel like you need help with this, if I'm giving you the big picture. If you need help breaking this down bit by bit by bit and creating boundaries that work for you, creating a plan that works, a way that you know what's going to get done. I have an organizational intensive. I would love to be able to serve you in that way and help you break down the big picture of building boundaries, creating space, creating a schedule that matters, and one that's going to allow you to do what you want to do and to show up and to be present with your people. And that's on my website. So it's DanielleMRoberts.com, and just look for the work with me and the organizational intensive. Because guys, I want you to have businesses that thrive, and I want you to have businesses that are so good to other people that you are talked about in positive ways. Like, hey, that girl, she's great to work with. She got me my stuff on time. I got that stuff to other people. Or that product got to me so quickly because I didn't have to sit around and wait. It's amazing when that happens. And that's how I want your guys' business to be. And I want you guys to have time and space to be with your people and to love on your people and honor what they want and to really respect them. So, again, don't be afraid to check out my organizational intensive. Don't be afraid to sit and just work on this. You guys, I honestly take a couple, like an hour before bed sometimes and just say, okay, how can I do this better? So that's what I encourage you guys to do today. If it doesn't happen today, make it happen tomorrow. Make it happen over the weekend. Because I guarantee you, once you start building boundaries and setting limits and knowing your schedule and being really cognizant of what it is that you have going on, it's going to make you less stressed, less overwhelmed, and make you feel like your business isn't flying by the seat of its pants. So, have a great day. I hope this really, really works for you. And again, if you need help, let me know. If you need anything, leave me a comment, or you can email me at dmr@daniellemroberts.com, or head over to my website and use the contact page. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.